Hello, Erica here. I just filmed this. I just spent 30 minutes filming this and then realized that I never turned off autofocus on my camera and that half of the books were out of frame, which is a shame when you're filming a book haul. So this is my birthday book haul. This is part 1 of 3, and today we're going to talk about basically the novels I got, poetry collections, and some short story collections. So without further ado, before I lose the little natural light I have, let's get going. So first, some novels I got. The first one I have is Hard-Boiled and Hard-Lucked by Banana Yoshimoto, who's a Japanese author. I read her book Kitchen last year, I think, and I really enjoyed it. This, very much like Kitchen, is 2 novellas bound up, but they relate thematically, and I believe very much like Kitchen, they're about female characters dealing with grief and loss, which I really enjoyed in Kitchen, so I'm looking forward to this. I will be reading this for Japanese June, which is hosted by a variety of lovely ladies, and I either have already or will be talking about that project in my June TBR video. But again, this cover is absolutely adorable. I really like it. Then I finally got Giovannis Room by James Baldwin. I am kind of ashamed to admit that I've never read anything by James Baldwin. Because he's fantastic. I actually started this last night. I'm only about 15 pages into it, but the writing is just so good. I really like these editions of James Baldwin's work, the vintage editions here, and so I'm totally thrilled to have this, and I'm sure I will be done with this very soon. Next, because everyone's talking about A Little Life, I got The People in the Trees by Hanya Yanagihira. I have not bought A Little Life yet because I'm waiting for the paperback, as I'm sure I'm going to love it. Also, I cannot carry around that hardback. It is a huge book. It looks so heavy. I've picked it up a couple of times. It's heavy. So I got this. This is like an anthropological adventure story, as the blurb says. And it's supposed to be really interesting. So I'm excited to check this out. I'm excited to check out Yanagihira's writing. And just in general, I think this is an absolutely stunning book. This is by Anchor Books. And the cover illustration is gorgeous. The spine is really nice. And the back is nice as well with a little turtle. So, I'm excited about that. Next, I got Down the Rabbit Hole. This is by Juan Pablo Villalobos. This is a very short novella. It's only about 60 pages. I read Quesadillas by Juan Pablo Villalobos last year. I really enjoyed it. I did a review, which I will link down below if you are interested. I'm really excited about this. Juan Pablo Villalobos is a Mexican author, so this is translated from Spanish, and I've heard really great things about it. And this is an adorable little book done by FSNG, and I really, really like this little guy. Very cute. Then I got Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. This was all the rave around the time that I first started watching BookTube videos, and I've wanted it ever since then. Apparently this is a little bit hard to swallow, story-wise. It is about a family who has like a traveling freak show, and the mother purposely, when she's pregnant, tries to make sure that her children are born with birth defects so that they can be part of their act. It sounds tough, but I've heard that it's beautifully written. It was a finalist for the National Book Award, and I think this book is beautiful. I love the cover design with the simple title, but very cool font. The spine is very nice, and then on the back it switches over to navy blue with orange lettering. So I'm excited to get to this. Next, I got a used copy of Lives of Girls and Women by Alice Munro. This is the first and only novel that Alice Munro wrote. I guess she decided that the novel form was not for her because she's published a dozen collections of short stories, which of course I love, so I'm very excited to see what she does with the novel form. I'm sure it can't be bad, but it must not have been her cup of tea, per se. Not usually a huge fan of photographic covers, but I do love this one. This is a really beautiful photograph, and I'm just very excited to have this in my possession. Then I got 2 children's classics in the Puff and Chalk editions. I own Peter Pan already in this edition, but I also got Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. I've never read this story, but I love these little editions. Again, they're kind of short. That seems to be my thing. Like, not mass market paperback short, but like short and adorable and wide books. I love them. Cover design is gorgeous. spine is gorgeous. The backs have these lovely quotes from the books on them. They have deckled edges and French flaps, and I'm so happy to add this to my collection. I also, in that edition, got The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. I've also never read this, which is terrible. Of course, I've seen the movie, but have never read this. I'm very excited to dip into this. And again, absolutely gorgeous cover, gorgeous spine, if you can even see that. I don't know if my camera's going to be able to handle that. And a lovely little quote on the back there in lovely, lovely lettering. Then I got a few mass market paperbacks of books that I've already read, but either A, own really crappy beat up editions of, B, have lent out and never gotten back, or C, just never owned my own copy of and wanted to have one for reference or for rereading. So those are Life of Pi by Jan Martel. I originally read this on my Kindle. My Kindle has since broken, and I have not replaced it yet, and I'm not sure that I'm going to. So I'm kind of collecting the books that I read on it while I was really active in using it, which hasn't been lately, in paperback forms, at least the ones that I like and would like to revisit at some time or share with people. So I believe this is the original cover design. Like I said, I got this used, and this is not the movie tie-in edition, which I'm very happy about. I was not a huge fan of the movie, but I did like this book. So yeah, that's very nice, and I'm glad I have that. Then I got Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. I originally had this in the really gorgeous US edition, which is just white with the red lettering. Really stunning. I lent it out. I never got it back, and I'm having a really hard time finding that edition, especially because I didn't really want to pay full price for a new one. So I could have ordered it from Book Depository or something, but I didn't. I got this copy used, and it's in really excellent condition. I mean, I can't complain about the condition of the book. And I really don't mind this as far as movie tie-in covers go. It's very nice. So now I have this again. I'm very happy to have this again. I really liked this book. Also, I seem to have misplaced my copy of Bastard Out of Carolina, which is a book I really adore by Dorothy Allison. So I have been eyeing this anyway, because the edition that I think I either lent it out or I've misplaced it. I'm not sure. But it was kind of beat up. I had bought it used in college because I had to read it for a class. But this reissued 20th anniversary edition is stunning, and I've been eyeing it anyway. It's got this beautiful illustration on it. I don't know if you can see, but around the edges in this like cream, there's actually like text. And I don't know, can you see it? Probably not. Anyway, my camera can't pick up these little details. But I do think that the font on it is beautiful. The spine is really nice, and it's a really, really nice book. So I'm thrilled to have it. It has French flaps, deckled edges, and I love this book so much, so I'm really looking forward to rereading it, but in this edition. Then, if you watched my bookshelf tour, you may have noticed that I have the craziest, weirdest, oldest edition of The Hobbit ever. And not like old in a good collectible way, but old in like 1980s kind of weird cover way with this magnificent illustration of Bilbo Baggins on it. Really incredible. I'm not getting rid of that edition. It's like way too hilarious for me to get rid of. But I would like to collect The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy in these gorgeous 75th anniversary editions, which I really like. So I have The Hobbit. I haven't gotten around to getting the other three yet, but I will someday. And I love these. They're gold on the mountain caps there. And it's a really stunning book. And all together they look very nice. So I'll be picking up the other three shortly, I'm sure. Alliteration is very hard, apparently. Lastly, I have The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This is a book I read and really, really liked. And I have a really ugly, beat-up, used mass market paperback edition because I wasn't sure that I was going to like this, but I ended up really liking it. I really wanted a nicer edition, so I got one. I like this cover more than I thought I would when I first saw it. I ordered it online and I was kind of iffy about it, but I ended up really liking it, so that's great, and I'm glad that I have this. Alright, that's it for the novels. Next I have 3 short story collections, which is not a lot for me, quite honestly, but that's alright. First I have Pretty Monsters by Kelly Link. This was a gift from my fiance. I'm super excited. I read Magic for Beginners by Kelly Link in January. I loved it. I did a review of it. I'll link it down below. Absolutely love her writing. She does these kind of fantastical, magical realism-esque, totally creepy and bizarre short stories. They are amazing, and I cannot complain about this cover because this cover is stunning. Look, the New York Times Book Review says, Kelly Link is a sorceress to be reckoned with. I love that. That's great. All right, yeah, I have that. I also got In the Heart of the Country by William H. Gass. I believe this was published in the 60s, and it is short stories and a novella. And they're all set in the Midwestern United States, and that's all I really know. I've heard good things, so I'm excited to check this out. This is a New York Review of Books edition, which I love. I just think they're really simple and gorgeous. And now I have a few, and they look really amazing when you line them up with the spines, so cannot complain about that. I also got another New York Review of Books edition. That is The Woman Who Borrowed Memories, which are selected stories by Toby Jansen. Again, let's blame Kirsty from Kirsty on Books for this. Thank you for enabling me. She and I have pretty similar taste in short story authors, and she talks about both Elizabeth Taylor, who I hauled in my last haul, and Toby Jansen a little bit, and they both sound amazing, really right up my alley. I believe that Jansen is a Finnish author. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I have no idea. I think I'm going to love this. It's going to be great. I also got 3 collections of poetry. The first one that I got is Don't Let Me Be Lonely, an American Lyric by Claudia Rankine. I read Citizen in May. I loved it. It was so good. Claudia Rankine writes prose poetry, which is not a form I have explored in any sort of depth at all before. She writes a lot about social and class issues, race issues in the U.S. in relation to current events. This is a little bit of an older collection, but I'm super, super thrilled to get my hands on more of her writing, so I have that. I also bought... So this wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for a different collection by T.S. Eliot, but I found this and I had to have it. It's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. So these are T.S. Eliot's cat poems, which are kind of held in contempt by some scholars. Anyway, he wrote a bunch of poems about cats. And I love The Wasteland, and I love the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, like, so much. So I thought, how could I possibly go wrong with this, because I love cats. And look at this cover and these cats. Look at these cats. Also, there's a cat illustration for, like, every poem. I can't even handle it. I cannot wait to read this. And lastly, I got an absolutely stunning book. This is Selected Verse by Federico Garcia Lorca, who I've studied a little bit in bits and pieces when I was studying Spanish literature in college, but I don't know that I've ever read this much of him. This is the bilingual edition. This is also done by FSG, and it's amazing. So I like to read Spanish poetry in the original Spanish if I can. Sometimes it goes a little over my head, though, so I do like to have bilingual editions in case I have to reference the English. There are illustrations in this book as well, and I can't wait to dive into this. So yes, that was the first part of my birthday book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if you've read any of those books and what you thought about them, and I will see you all soon. Bye!